To your recollection or knowledge, did you or your representatives ever have any other communication with the Department of Justice regarding Jeffrey Epstein?
Not that I remember, no.
CNN has reported that in 2007, Ms. Maxwell co-hosted a fundraiser for Secretary Clinton's presidential campaign in New York City. We believe that Christina Aguilera may have performed at that event. Do you have any knowledge or recollection of attending that event?
I don't.
There was an email released as part of the DOJ files recently that suggested you may have attended a party at Ghislaine Maxwell's home in October of 2009, and that publicist Peggy Siegel, as well as Jeff Bezos, may have attended. My only question to you is whether you have any recollection of attending a party that I just described.
Is this her home in New York City?
It would be at Ms. Maxwell's home in New York City.
No, I have no memory of that at all.
Thank you. It's been widely reported that in July of 2010, Ms. Maxwell attended your daughter Chelsea's wedding in Rhinebeck, New York, and that she accompanied billionaire Ted Waite, who was, at least at the time, a family friend of yours, and you've described a little bit today. You, of course, were at that wedding as well. Do you have any specific recollection of interacting with Ms. Maxwell at that wedding?
No, I was an emotional wreck. I was just trying not to fall off the little, what do you call the?
So Crack Baby, I apologize for shutting down earlier, but I don't really know you. And I don't know your chat. And I don't know, like, I didn't want to flip out while I'm restreaming other people's channels and stuff. So I had to shut down and go have a shower and let things cool off for a minute. Because I don't want to, because I have a tendency, I sometimes let my mouth get a hold of me.
I watch you good enough to know that. I don't care. If you let it go, you let it go.
I got a hate speech strike last year when I got. So.
I was about to say, dude, I've watched you long enough to see you go off.
Okay. Yeah, I couldn't. I don't do that when I'm restreaming other people's channels, right? I try not to. So anyway, let's go.
Right.
Pallets.
Yeah.
The dais?
No, the wooden.
I can be professional.
We walked on the grass with. I knew she was there, and she and Ted were there.
And what was your understanding of her relationship with Mr. Waite at the time?
Well, I thought they were together, and I think Chelsea and Mark did too. And there.
It's also been reported that in 2011, your advisor, Doug Band, instructed an aide to remove Ms. Maxwell from all attendance-related lists for Clinton-related events. This was reportedly in the wake of Virginia Roberts Giuffre and allegations that she made at the time against many people, including Ms. Maxwell. Do you have any memory or knowledge of Mr. Band's instructions that I just described?
I don't.
Thank you. That takes us through most of the known timeline of your relationship with Jeffrey Epstein. There's just one more topic I would like to cover. That is the Clinton Global Initiative. In 2007, Mr. Epstein's lawyers claimed that he was part of the original group that conceived the Clinton Global Initiative. Would you agree with that characterization?
No.
Can you elaborate a little bit on why you would not agree with that?
I wouldn't agree with that because the first time I ever discussed what became the Clinton Global Initiative was with Doug Band and the rest of our small group on the way back from Davos. And Doug said he wanted we should have a meeting like this in New York at the opening of the UN. And we can make a lot of money because you don't have to go to Davos. You can meet all these people over here. And I said, I want to do it for an entirely different reason. It's fine if we make money, but the most important thing is that we give serious people a chance to go to meetings and actually make commitments to make positive change. I'm tired of going to meetings where everybody just bloviates and doesn't ever do a damn thing. So if we can figure out how to do that, I'm interested. And then we got, a team. There was, to operationalize it, it was Doug Band, Mary Morrison, who had worked for me in the inner office at the White House, and a man named Ed Hughes, who was a wonderful young guy who stayed with us the whole 12 years. And they were working on how to stand up and do the mechanics of this. Then my job was to try to get some people who would come that people would want to hear and see, and try to, make it exciting and make people actually want to make commitments. And so I think it was at that point that Ghislaine may have gotten involved. I don't know. You can ask them about it, but I'm just telling you how it began. It began with Doug said, let's do this and make money, and me saying, let's do this and make commitments.
I think the question, Mr. President, which you've answered was Jeffrey Epstein involved in the
At the time, no, not at all.
Thank you.
But I do not know what happened afterward.
It has been publicly reported that in 2006, Mr. Epstein made a $25,000 donation to the Clinton Foundation. Do you have any specific knowledge or recollection of that donation?
No, I saw it I saw that it was reported. I don't know.
Thank you. With respect to Ms. Maxwell, and you just touched on it briefly, she told DOJ last July that she was, quote, very central to the startup of the Clinton Global Initiative. Would you agree with that characterization?
I would agree that she worked hard. I now know. I didn't at the time, because I was working on the other, as I explained, I was working on a whole other part of this.
If I could ask you to limit your answer to your knowledge at the time.
At the time, I did not know it.
Thank you. The New York Times recently reported that in 2004, Ms. Maxwell arranged a $1 million payment to an events company called Publicis Group, and that the payment may have had some.
I'm also seeing that this is partially a humiliation ritual as well. Same shit they put Biden through. I think it's part of their magic spell with the blood rituals, with the blood sacrifices. Some kind of weird shit.
Some connection.
Anybody else?
I second that.
I'm just saying, it's some kind of weird ass shit that they got to do. Like you got to do the hokey pokey and turn yourself around, and like, you got to do it a certain way, or else it's not like gentlemanly. That's why they tell you what they're doing, because the gentleman.
But that's within a lot of even within like celebrities and all that. They all go through this like some type of a humiliation ritual. Yep.
With the first Clinton Global Initiative conference in 2005, the reporting suggests that Mr. Epstein may
Somehow they all end up with black eyes too.
It's what?
I said somehow they all end up with black eyes. Like,
Are you talking about the panda?
not black guys,
Conspiracy.
but black eyes.
No, I heard you.
Yeah.
Yeah, the panda conspiracy.
Is that Austin back again?
Yes.
Yes.
Hello, dear.
I emailed you.
What was that?
I emailed you.
Okay. I'll hit it up. I didn't quite have time to.
the payment. Do you have any specific memory or knowledge or recollection of the $1 million payment I just described?
No.
It's also been reported that in September of 2013, at a Clinton Global Initiative conference, Ms. Maxwell was recognized as a commitment to action partner for her work on behalf of the Terramar Project, which was an ocean conservation nonprofit that she founded in 2012. Do you have any memory or knowledge of that conference?
I do.
Great. Could you describe a little bit what you recall?
Yeah, because this shows you how
Finger to the head.
the lane for everybody. She,
See, this right here is a perfect case for specifically why I say that LLCs and corporations shouldn't exist. They just get to go, I don't know where that $1 million came from. Unbeknownst to me, I have no idea. There's other people that do this type of work. I'm just Bill Clinton. I'm just a lawyer. I'm just the president. I don't get any security briefings. I have no idea about this guy that's at my daughter's wedding. I have no idea about nothing. I allow all these weird ass people to honeypot my whole family. Don't know a thing. Never took part in any of it. I don't even know where I am right now.
Right.
People are just supposed to accept this nonsense. I'm not going to accept this nonsense.
I can't. I mean, they know everybody who comes around them. They know their fucking entire family names. Like I said, they know when they take a shit, for Christ's sake.
So just somebody can just walk anywhere and just go with the president. And
President Clinton can walk into
anytime.
I can go in President Clinton's house without being clearanced, apparently.
And they just call down.
From what he says, yeah.
Yeah, no, let him in. Don't even check his ID. Everything's fine. And no one pays any attention to it. It's fine. No, what it is that's what actually happened. And there's no record of it. So can't prove anything.
the first, she was still with Ted Wade, and he was still heavily involved in ocean work. So that was sort of an incentive, but she had organized this group whose objective was to, in effect, take two massive islands made of metal and junk out of the Atlantic. I mean, they were floating around. One of them had gotten to the Caribbean. They were floating around and all this metal. So that was what she was trying to do. That was a good idea, and she was recognized for that. The fact that she was recognized was not particularly remarkable. Everybody who makes a commitment goes through a photo line and gets recognized.
Did you have any personal role in Ms. Maxwell's recognition at that event? Or with that event?
I might have been in her room by the time she got it, but it wasn't. No, they put the recognition in that room. I remember this specifically because it was where all the ocean freaks were, all the people that cared about this, that wanted to be.
The ocean freaks.
One of those things announced.
By ocean freaks, you mean people who are passionate about the ocean.
Yes.
Thank you.
I mean that. People who were passionate about doing this, it was great. And
what did they think they meant? Aliens? What? I don't get
It's
it.
just being derogatory is all.
Yeah, they wanted it was a little derogatory, so they wanted to like clear it up and make it more respectful.
I guess.
Yeah.
so I didn't
Because
think
it's good to care about the ocean.
Do you have any
Yeah.
additional knowledge or recollection related to Ms. Maxwell's role at that event?
no.
Reportedly, in February of 2014, you had dinner with Ms. Maxwell and others in Los Angeles at a vegan restaurant called Crossroads Kitchen. That dinner may have been organized by your then Deputy Chief of Staff, John Davidson, perhaps around 20 guests. Do you have any recollection of the dinner I just described?
I had a lot of dinners like that in Los Angeles, so I don't remember that specific one, but whenever I went to Los Angeles, I tended to have a dinner someplace in public with a lot of my friends, just to keep in touch with them, keep going.
As far as you can recall, when was the last time you had any form of communication with Ms. Maxwell?
I think it must be a decade ago, it might be even longer, I don't know, but it was a long time.
Thank you.
Mr. President, it's a pleasure to be here and quickly on a lighter note, point of personal privilege. My birthday is November 5th, 1974, which shouldn't mean anything to you. But what it means is that I turned 18 2 days after the election and I couldn't vote, and I'm still upset about that. So on behalf of my mom, I apologize. She was a little slow. President Clinton, as counsel noted at the beginning of this deposition, Donald Trump posted on social media that that he wanted Attorney General Pam Bondi to investigate you and other prominent Democrats in order to distract from his own close ties to Jeffrey Epstein. That post was previously marked as Minority Exhibit B, which you already have.
Yep.
President Trump's post refers to Jeffrey Epstein's crimes against young girls and women as the Epstein hoax. His post also completely ignores several other high-profile individuals, including Republicans and allies of President Trump, who were known to have had relationships with Epstein. In fact, the Epstein files contain numerous officials in the current and previous Trump administrations who have connections to Jeffrey Epstein, including Howard Lutnick, RFK Jr., Steve Bannon, Tom Barrett, Kevin Warsh, and Mehmet Oz, to name a few. President Clinton, to your knowledge, has the Trump administration done anything at all to investigate these other individuals with ties to Epstein?
Well, I wouldn't be in a position to know. That's the truth. As I said earlier, the only conversation I had with President Trump about this was in the early 2000s. And I have no information that he did anything wrong. I just want it all out there. I want everybody to get it all out there and let everybody see where we are.
And had you had any conversations with him since the early 2000s about this subject matter?
No.
And then my last question is, Howard Lutnick recently went so far as to lie about his close connections with Jeffrey Epstein, but the truth came out with the release of the files. President Clinton, is Howard Lutnick still employed as Secretary of Commerce in the Trump administration, to your knowledge?
I think he is.
And in your opinion, why has Donald Trump ignored these other prominent figures who've had close ties with Epstein?
He's asking your opinion, Mr. President.
Speculation.
Lutnick runs a big company and has made a lot of money and has supported him strongly. I don't think he believes that he's done anything bad enough to. I think he thinks he took his family to the island and he couldn't have done anything wrong. That's what I think he thinks. But I'm speculating. I'm doing what I have no business doing because I really don't know.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you.
That's okay. I can do.
Thank
you. I'll speak up. Thank you, Mr. President, for being here, for your service. I'll be brief. I think most of the pertinent questions have been asked today. I want to talk about transparency. You and Secretary Clinton were both very clear about your desire to testify publicly before this committee. In fact, on February 6, 2026, you posted on social media, quote, "I will not sit idly as they use me as a prop in a closed-door kangaroo court by a Republican Party running scared. If they want answers, let's stop the games and do this the right way in a public hearing where the American people can see for themselves what this is really about." President Clinton, why do you feel it is important for you to testify before this committee in a public setting?
Because I think that first what happened with Jeffrey Epstein was horrible. What he did and what Ghislaine Maxwell was convicted of, it was horrible. We can't tolerate it in America and shouldn't. We ought to keep doing as Hillary talked about yesterday, try our part to get rid of that kind of trafficking around the world. Secondly, I was on the plane. It may be that I've said something today that gave you some indication that would.
Hold on. If I'm not supposed to believe that he's involved in any of this, then doesn't that mean that I could also believe that Jeffrey Epstein wasn't involved in any of this and that Jeffrey Epstein never actually existed because I never met the guy? So it might just be a CIA front and this guy never actually existed and all of this was just orchestrated like on a fucking Mission Impossible movie. No, I'm asking a serious question.
Yeah, no, that actually could be a possibility.
If these guys aren't involved and they like all the other stuff I said earlier, then that means that maybe Jeffrey Epstein never actually existed in the first place.
Except that he does say he was on his plane. He does admit to that.
Or maybe they just got rid of him.
He never met the guy. He was never at that island. Or he met the guy maybe once, or who knows.
Maybe
You know what I mean?
the island didn't exist.
Oh yes, maybe it was an illusion the whole time.
And Trump says it was a hoax. So obviously, like something's going on that everybody's trying to distract from here.
It's the aliens.
That Jeffrey Epstein never existed. These guys are the good guys, and they have all of our best interest at heart.
So our government has our military has technology that's capable. Our satellites are capable of zooming in like to a hair. Like you could zoom into anyone, right? At any given time. They could run back. They have satellites all over the place. There's no hiding in this world. There's no
that's
hiding.
why. So how did the children go missing?
So they let them go missing, of course.
Right. So just saying. Or none of that's real, and those kids just get taken by Pennywise.
And this is just entertainment for us.
Yes.
Every time there's a school pew pew or anything like that, and they can't find the shooter, that's all bullshit. They could run the fucking satellite imagery back, zoom in, and see exactly where that shooter's at. They have this technology.
I believe that.
Yeah. It's all bullshit.
1,000%. They've got it in infrared and shit. So they can't follow that heat signature? Okay, because he's fucking Tom Cruise.
Help change policies or something. So I thought it was important. But I also think people know that there's been a little bit of zig and zag and ambivalence about, how we should, how hard this thing should be put out there. And I'm not pointing a finger at anybody. I'm just saying we know that. And so I think it's important
I knew something was going on.
that we get it all out.
So to be clear, this committee issued a subpoena to the Department of Justice to release the full and unredacted files last summer. There's also now the Epstein Files Transparency Act that asks for the same that President Donald Trump signed into law. But still, the Department of Justice under this administration has not released all of the files, and there's been many illegal redactions. Do you think that we, of course, as Congress and the American public should get the full and unredacted files immediately?
I think unless there is some serious danger of physical harm to one of the victims, or some national security interest involving intelligence, because you've heard these, that some of you think that there's some intelligence issues, national security issues. I think the rest of it ought to be gotten out, and I think we just need to get to a point where we can put this behind us. And then I think I hope you can and will help build us a system that works in America the way our international system works with us in trying to identify and stop human trafficking and trying to make people whole once they've been damaged.
And not a question, but just in response, the law is very clear about the identities of the victims.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, the Department of Justice has wrongfully released some of that information, including personally identifiable information, while illegally redacting names of potential co-conspirators. So
They're going to kill me for saying this, but I think it's important to think it's entirely possible that people in the Justice Department, I don't agree with on nearly anything, right? But it's possible that they didn't intentionally cover some of this stuff up. But it's hard to accept that when you look at the other problems in dealing with the information. So you guys got to clear that up, clean it up, decide how you think it should be handled.
thank you.
So
They're going to kill him for saying this? Do you think he meant that literally?
quote from the
Yes, he did.
memoir, I think it was accurately quoted in the first instance. The full
Maybe I missed it.
He just said they're going to kill me for saying this
Exactly.
before that last rant. And given the track history, he may not have meant that figuratively.
victims.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, the Department of Justice has wrongfully released some of that information, including personally identifiable information, while illegally redacting names of potential co-conspirators. So
They're going to kill me for saying this, but I think it's important to say. I think it is entirely possible that people in the Justice Department, I don't agree with on nearly anything, right? But it's possible that they didn't intentionally cover some of this stuff up. But it's hard to accept that when you look at the other problems in dealing with the information.
He meant the lawyers. That's what he'll say. That's what I would say he meant.
That's what he'll say he meant.
Let's
Yeah.
clear that up, clean it up, decide how you think it should be handled.
But they're talking about co-conspirators.
thank you.
Yeah.
So before we go off the record, just one clarification. It's more just for councils. The quote from the 2024 memoir, I think was accurately quoted in the first instance. The full sentence is, quote, "He," meaning Mr. Epstein, "hurt a lot of people, but I knew nothing about it. And by the time he was first arrested in 2005, I had stopped contact with him." And that's the end of the sentence. That's page 373. So that's just for council. And
My apology.
no, not at all. And with that, we can end this round and go off the record.
We'll go back on the record. Mr. President, during the last hour, there was a discussion related to your book with minority counsel, and I just want to read the excerpt into the record. And just a quick question for clarification. You said, "I had always thought Epstein was odd, but had no inkling of the crimes he was committing. He hurt a lot of people, but I knew nothing about it. And by the time he was first arrested in 2005, I had stopped contact with him." We understand that Mr. Epstein was arrested in July of 2006. Can you explain the discrepancy?
You're asking him to fact check his own program?
Correct.
Okay, I mean,
Can you explain it around?
I can't. I'm sorry, we made a mistake.
Thank you.
All right, Mr. President, Congresswoman Nancy Mace from South Carolina, thank you for being here with us for hours today. I know it's been a long day, and I know that we're going to wrap up soon for you. Did you know one of the witnesses who testified in the Epstein cases that Epstein said, you quote, "like them young"? Why would Epstein say that about you?
are you asking his opinion? You're asking him to think about why Mr. Epstein would say
Correct.
something
Why
about him?
would Epstein say that
So
about
she's
the
asking you
president?
to try to be in Mr. Epstein's mind and guess at what Mr. Epstein would have thought about it.
He only likes them young, referring to girls.
They asked him to speculate before. What's different now?
First of all, that's not true.
Because this is theater.
That I have any interest in underage,
I didn't say underage, I said young.
but it's still not true.
Is an intern young?
Told on himself right there.
Yes.
Okay.
At my age,
Did-
anybody younger than I
Did you
am.
know
is-
Jeffrey Epstein instructed a witness to deny you were ever on his island?
He didn't have to since I was never there.
Did you ever travel to Zorro Ranch?
Is that the one in New Mexico?
Yes.
No.
Okay. Have you ever flown on anyone else's private jet 26 times or more for overseas trips?
I have flown as many miles on other jets, but never with as many stops.
How many other people's planes have you used, like Epstein 26 times or miles, et cetera?
I don't know. I did with Steve Bean, who's now deceased, and probably with 4 or 5 others.
Okay.
Interesting.
So maybe about a half dozen billionaires total. So how many dinners did you have with Ghislaine Maxwell or Jeffrey Epstein in attendance?
She's asking to the best of your recollection.
I have no idea.
Okay. Did you ever discuss sexual misconduct allegations made against you with Epstein or Maxwell?
Never.
Did Epstein or Maxwell ever offer to help manage or silence women who made sexual misconduct allegations against you?
No.
Did Epstein or Maxwell ever offer financial support directly or indirectly to legal defense funds related to impeachment proceedings or civil actions against you?
Not to my knowledge.
Do you think a young girl massaging a president is unusual?
So are you asking his opinion?
Well, he
You're
was
asking his
massaged by
opinion?
a young woman. I'm asking if he thinks it's unusual that a president, sitting president of the United States, leader of the free world, that
So
it's
I'm sorry,
unusual. a
are you
young woman
speaking
would
to,
be-
are you talking to the instance of the
Yes, is it unusual that
the
a
back
young woman would be
massage
massaged?
that occurred while he was not president? I'm just trying to understand. You said a president of the United States.
Former president?
Thank you. Just trying to make sure we're correcting
Are
the
you
time frame.
filibustering?
No, I don't need
Okay.
to. I'm actually trying to make
I
sure
think
that as
that's pretty
you,
clear. He said
you said he was a
young-
sitting president.
Excuse me, could we just please go one at a time? Thank you.
You said a sitting president. I want you to be clear so that when he
Shut
answers.
up, bitch.
Is it unusual?
I have
Objection.
no idea.
It calls for speculation.
I figured. Did you ever think that all these women around Jeffrey Epstein or Ghislaine Maxwell was odd, unusual, weird, or creepy?
There weren't all that many around when I was there.
How many would you say is not all that many?
I think on this big plane that was working long hours, having 2 to 4 people on there, I thought was, as far as I knew, they were all helping.
Flight attendants in tank tops and jeans? right?
No,
Do you believe you were a victim of a Jeffrey Epstein intel operation? Do you think that you might have been like caught up in some of what he was maybe potentially doing?
Excuse me, Congressman, which question are you asking?
I'm asking
Intel
if the-
operation?
first of all, I don't,
some type of intel operation. I'm just curious because it's been speculated on today and
I
yesterday
understand.
that he may have been an intel asset. Do you think, perhaps knowing what we know now, the proclivity of it all, that he may have been targeting you as part of an intel operation?
I doubt it.
In 2019, you stated after he was arrested, I guess this would be the second time, you stated you knew nothing of Epstein's, quote, terrible crime since you only met, quote, briefly on only, quote, 2 occasions. Was this statement false?
Excuse me, Congressman.
That's not an accurate statement. Can you
That
please
statement?
share us what you said?
Yes, in 2019, as reported by the media,
Which media?
this says this is the
Could you share a copy of it, please?
okay, Daily Beast.
media.
The title of this is Bill Clinton failed to mention his intimate 1995 dinner with Epstein.
We can give counsel and the witness a moment to review the exhibit.
Well, we'd like the statement. I mean, he put out
Yeah,
a
I don't know
statement
anything about
in 2019, full statement.
And it will be marked Exhibit 22.
So to be clear, the basis of your question is a news article with respect to the Daily Beast as to a dinner. Is that accurate?
Nope, it's a question in the first paragraph, which reads, hours after Jeffrey Epstein was arraigned Monday on several sex trafficking charges, former President Bill Clinton publicly downplayed his relationship with the pedophile financier, saying he knew nothing of his terrible crimes since they only met briefly on 2 occasions.
And that's in the Daily Beast. Is
Correct,
that
which
not
is in
correct?
your hand right now.
Great, that's what I just said.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Well, what would
What's
you
your
like to
question?
know?
So my question is, you stated you'd only met Jeffrey Epstein in 2019. You said you'd only met him on 2 occasions. Was this statement false when you made
To
it?
be clear, this is a news reporting that is saying that that's what he
Did you
said.
make this statement in 2019?
Congressman, would you put in the statement that he made? This is a news report.
Okay.
It's double hearsay.
Did
So
you make the statement in 2019 as reported by the media?
So you're asking whether or not he made a statement to the Daily Beast?
Nope, it says, quote, it's quoting him or his office, et cetera. Are you denying you made the statement?
It's quoting a sentence. If you put in the entire statement, that's all we ask. To be fair, give him the statement, not somebody's report of it. I have no idea what the Daily Beast take is.
Answer the damn question.
Broader than this, and they relied on only a portion of it. They relied on only a portion of his full
And that's the
statement.
portion I'm focusing on.
Well,
He said
then-
it was with Jeffrey
So
Epstein on
it's
2
actually a
occasions.
misrepresentation of his entire statement.
Well, can you let your client answer the question?
Well, can you ask it in a way that would make it clear that what you were
I'm being
actually
very
asking
clear. His statement said
is
he
the
met with
broader
Jeffrey
question
Epstein.
of what did he say?
He said he briefly met with him only
No,
on 2
The
occasions.
Daily Beast selected that piece
So are
out.
you denying that the president made the statement?
What I'm saying is that there is an entire statement. That's the statement on which the president spoke to.
Would you like to provide it to this committee?
We're happy to provide that committee.
Okay, I would like to ask the president this question. Was that a false statement that he made in 2019 that he only met with Jeffrey Epstein briefly on 2 occasions?
Object to the basis of this question.
Wait.
This is, you're asking him about a news article, not the
It's
statement he
quoting
made.
him. It's quoting the president of the United States. Are you denying? Are you denying the president made the statement?
I'm
Are
telling
you denying he
No,
made the
I'm
statement?
telling
I
you.
want to know.
No, I'm telling you that
Are
the
you
president
making a
made a
false
full
statement
statement. You are selecting a piece of it. Let's put in the
My
entire
source-
statement he made.
I wasn't in federal office in 2019. I was not a part of this committee. I was a state house rep from Goose Creek, South Carolina, and I'm quoting open sources that I have. To the best of my knowledge, I'm not rich with a bunch of attorneys, okay? I'm doing the best that I can to get the information I can, and I'm asking if the president was telling a lie in 2019 when he stated to the public he'd only met with Jeffrey Epstein on 2 occasions.
He did
did
not say
that
to the
only
public,
in
you're
the statement,
misrepresenting.
Congressman Mays. Let me be clear. Now, after
And there, right there, perfect example. Perfect time for the train to go by too. See if it does its horn.
Toot toot.
No, they say, "Oh, go fight it in court." Blah 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 blah. She just said, "I am just a representative. I'm not rich with a whole bunch of attorneys," because she has no power as an elected official. This rich former government official has more power than that elected congressman. Realize that, everyone. Our government has no power whatsoever. I'm not American, but our governments have no power whatsoever. This is a perfect example.
asking about your right to ask him any question, but don't do it on the basis of a news article. The news article is quoting his statement.
So is the news
It's
article
quoting-
lying? Is the news article
lying.
false?
It's false if you take it to mean what you say, which the statement did not do.
Do you understand English? I'm
I
serious.
think I do.
I
I'm
don't
not from
think you
South
do.
Carolina, but I think I do.
Did you make a statement, Mr. President, in 2019 that you only met with Jeffrey Epstein twice? I'm asking a question a different way.
I have no idea, but I think that when I answer that, I don't believe I remembered anything about meeting him in 1995.
So when making a statement about Jeffrey Epstein in 2019, would you have checked with your staff on maybe White House logs about the 17 times he visited, dinners you had with him, fundraising that you did with him, fundraising dinners he was on, you were on his flights 26 times. Would you have checked with your staff before making such a statement, or would you just
Congressman Mays, what statement are you talking about? Are you talking about the
Statement.
entire statement that he made in
Ms.
2019?
Mason, can I just ask you for the purpose? Can I ask you for the record?
Excuse me.
Ms. Mason, can I ask you for the record? Can you read the article into the record, please?
I'm not gonna read the article into the record.
Well, Ms. Mason, you are indicating that this article misrepresents the piece. Could
You're
you
not
read the
asking
article
anybody
into
to
the
read an
record?
article into the record. I'm not going to do that. You've
Well,
not
this
done
is the
that yet.
basis
I'm not
on which
going
you
to.
rely.
You're not in charge of me. I am quoting
I'm
from
not
this
seeking to be in
article.
charge of you. Believe me, that is something I would not at
Don't
all
even try.
seek to be. So I want to be respectful. But I am asking, if you're asking him to speak to this, can you please put the entire article in the record?
The entire article is in the record as an exhibit. What exhibit number is this?
22.
22.
And yet,
Counselor.
It's already in the
question
record,
has been
Counselor.
clarified to reflect only the small portion of the larger statement to whatever extent the witness is able to answer to his recollection of that portion of the statement and any preparation that occurred to make that statement.
so in other words, what you have just articulated, that the question's been clarified by Ms. Mace or by you, that what is intended is to actually only be speaking to the selected piece out of the entire statement that was released by the president's office. Is that what you're clarifying?
That's what I'm focused on, yes.
Okay. So if you read this, you really want to know is if I was at a dinner
No, I don't. My question was
that
about
Ron
your statement.
Perlman
No, sir.
gave.
No, sir. I'm not asking about that dinner. I'm asking about the statement at the beginning of the article. I would like to ask another question. Your statement in 2019 about only meeting with Jeffrey Epstein on 2 occasions briefly.
That is not
was
a correct, I'm going to object to that characterization.
I
That is
believe-
not what the statement says.
Okay, so the
You're
third
reading the Daily
paragraph
Beast
down,
article.
So to be
which the
clear,
leftist rag, by the way. And on the third paragraph down, it says, in his Monday statement, Clinton said he had only, quote, one meeting with Epstein in his Harlem office in 2002, and around the same time made one brief visit to Epstein's New York apartment with a staff member and his security detail. Those are the two.
That is in
meetings that were
addition to
referenced.
this.
so the Daily Beast, Bill Clinton failed to mention his intimate dinner,
Statement
1995 dinner
described
with Epstein.